Imagine a world where one empire ruled over vast lands, from the misty hills of Britain to the sun-baked sands of Egypt. Rome, the eternal city, seemed unbreakable. But in 476 AD, it all came crashing down. What secrets lie behind this monumental fall? In this visual history journey, we'll unravel the hidden truths that doomed Rome, not just one event, but a perfect storm of invasions, decay, and human folly. Picture yourself walking those ancient streets as we dive into the drama. From barbarian hordes at the gates to emperors losing their grip, this is the story of how the mighty fell. Stay with us as we trace the threads of history that still echo today. It's a tale of ambition, betrayal, and resilience that will make you rethink what makes civilizations endure. Our story begins in the 3rd century AD as Rome's borders stretched thin. The empire, once a powerhouse, now faced relentless pressure from outside. Tribes like the Goths and Vandals, pushed by Huns from the east, surged across the Rhine in 406 AD. These weren't mindless barbarians, they were refugees and warriors seeking land in a crumbling world. Rome's legions, overstretched and underpaid, struggled to hold the line. Think of it like a modern superpower facing migrants and militants at every border, overwhelmed and under-resourced. Emperors like Valens tried to fight back, but the Battle of Adrianople in 378 AD was a disaster, killing thousands and shattering Roman invincibility. Pause for emphasis, this was the first crack in the armor, signaling to the world that Rome was vulnerable. As invasions mounted, the Eternal City began to feel the weight of its own expanse. While barbarians knocked at the doors, Rome was rotting from within. The economy, once fueled by conquest and trade, ground to a halt. Hyperinflation ravaged the coinage, emperors like Diocletian debased currency to pay troops, making money worthless. Trade routes along the Silk Road faltered as security waned, starving cities of goods. By the 4th century, taxes soared to fund endless wars, driving small farmers into bankruptcy. They sold lands to wealthy elites, creating vast latifundia estates worked by slaves. It's like today's wealth gaps widening, where the rich get richer amid crisis. Famine stalked the land. People in Rome queued for bread rations that grew smaller each year. The aqueducts, marvels of engineering, fell into disrepair, leaving thirst in the streets. This internal decay mirrored the external threats, weakening the empire's core just as the wolves circled closer. The Roman military, the empire's iron fist, began to rust. Once 500,000 strong, the legions were diluted by barbarian recruits who cared little for Roman glory. Emperors like Constantine reformed the army in the 4th century, but civil wars drained resources. Over 20 emperors in 75 years, many assassinated by their own troops. Loyalty shifted from the state to the general who paid best. Imagine a modern army fractured by coups and mercenaries. That's Rome in the late empire. Defenses along the frontiers crumbled as funds dried up. The Battle of the Catalaunian Plains in 451 AD saw Romans ally with barbarians against the Huns, a desperate move showing how far they'd fallen. Yet these strains set the stage for the invasions that would test Rome's endurance like never before. Leadership in Rome became a revolving door of chaos. From 235 to 284 AD, the crisis of the 3rd century saw 26 emperors rise and fall, many by murder. Figures like Commodus, son of Marcus Aurelius, devolved into tyranny, more gladiator than ruler. By the 5th century, weak emperors like Honorius hid in Ravenna while Rome burned. The real power lay with generals like Stilicho, a half-Vandal who defended the West but was executed in 408 AD on court intrigue. It's akin to today's political instability where leaders prioritize survival over strategy. These crises eroded trust. The Senate, once a pillar, became irrelevant. As emperors faltered, the empire splintered, paving the way for the barbarian breakthroughs that would change history forever. The year 410 AD, a date etched in infamy. Alaric the Visigoth, once a Roman ally, besieged Rome after years of broken promises. Starving citizens opened the gates, and for 3 days the city was sacked, not utterly destroyed but looted and humiliated. Gold flowed out to barbarian kings and sacred treasures vanished. Pope Innocent I negotiated mercy, saving many lives. For drama, this wasn't just a raid. It was the first sacking in 800 years, shattering the myth of Rome's invulnerability. News spread like wildfire across the empire, demoralizing defenders. In the east, Constantinople watched in horror, but the west was left reeling. The sack marked a turning point, accelerating the fragmentation as barbarians carved out kingdoms within Roman soil. In 395 AD, Emperor Theodosius the Great made a fateful choice. He divided the empire between his sons, Arcadius in the east and Honorius in the west. The east, with its wealthier cities and defensible borders, prospered as Byzantium. The west, plagued by invasions, withered. Communication faltered across the Alps, each half pursued separate paths. This split, meant to stabilize, instead doomed the west. While Constantinople built walls and alliances, Rome relied on outdated strategies. By 455 AD, Vandals sacked Rome again, stealing even the imperial regalia. The division highlighted Rome's fatal flaw. Unity was its strength, and without it, the West became a shadow of its former self, vulnerable to the rising tides of change. As empires clashed, cultures intertwined in unexpected ways. Christianity, legalized by Constantine in 313 AD and made official by Theodosius in 380 AD, shifted Roman identity from pagan gods to one faith. But barbarians brought their own customs, leading to a melting pot. Roman law influenced Gothic codes, Latin evolved into Romance languages. Elites fled cities for rural estates, accelerating urbanization's decline. Yet this wasn't pure destruction. Innovations like heavier plows from Germanic tech aided survival. The fall fostered a new Europe, where Roman engineering met barbarian vitality. It's a reminder that endings breed beginnings, much like how today's global migrations reshape societies. The final blows came swiftly in the 5th century. Attila the Hun ravaged the Balkans in 447 AD, extracting tribute that bankrupted the West. Then, in 451, he invaded Gaul but was halted at Chalons by a Roman-Visigoth alliance. Yet the damage was done. Provinces like Gaul and Spain fell to Suebi and Franks, establishing independent realms. Rome itself became a backwater, its population plummeting from 1 million to tens of thousands. Emperors like Valentinian III ruled in name only, puppets of warlords. By 476, the West was a patchwork of barbarian fiefdoms, with Roman administration a ghost. These relentless assaults stripped away the empire's periphery, leaving the heart exposed and beating its last. The climax arrived in 476 AD. Odoacer, a Germanic chieftain leading Herulian mercenaries, overthrew the boy emperor Romulus Augustulus, ironically named after Rome's founder and last great emperor. No blood was spilled. The crown was sent to Constantinople as a gesture. This wasn't a barbaric conquest but a quiet deposition, marking the end of the Western Roman Empire. For drama, chroniclers like Gibbon later called it the fall, but contemporaries saw continuity. Odoacer ruled as king of Italy, maintaining Roman laws and taxes. Yet this moment symbolized the transition. The imperial dream died, giving way to the Middle Ages. It's the pivotal scene where history pivoted from antiquity to a new era of fragmented powers. But Rome didn't vanish, its legacy endures. Roman law shaped Europe's codes, roads connected continents, and Latin birthed languages like French and Spanish. The Eastern Empire thrived for another millennium as Byzantium. Today, the fall warns us of overextension. Empires, like companies or nations, crumble under too much strain. In our globalized world, economic divides and migrations echo Rome's woes. Yet it's also a story of adaptation. Barbarians became Romans, forging the medieval world. Reflect on this. What Rome in your life might be falling, and how can you rebuild stronger? History isn't just the past, it's a mirror for our future. We've journeyed through the rise and fall of Rome, from glory to grit. This epic tale reminds us that no empire is eternal, but ideas are. As you reflect on these hidden truths, consider how history's lessons apply to our turbulent times. Thanks for joining Visual History on this deep dive into the past. If this story inspired you, hit like, subscribe for more explainers on world-shaping events, and share with fellow history lovers. What ancient mystery should we uncover next? Comment below. Rome fell, but its spirit lives on in us. Until next time, keep exploring the threads that weave our world.